I was 18 when I met the man who would later become my husband. I was celebrating my birthday in a small restaurant, surrounded by friends, trying to pretend I felt grown up. He walked over with a smile that felt calm, confident, and safe in a way I had never known. His name was Dan. He was older, charming, and carried himself like someone who already knew who he was. To a girl who grew up in chaos, that felt like magic. My childhood had been unstable. My parents fought constantly. My father would disappear for months at a time, then return like nothing had happened. When he finally died, my younger sister Abby was born soon after. From that moment on, everything in our family revolved around her. My mother wasn't cruel to me. She provided for me. She tried to be fair. But emotionally, Abby became the center of the universe. No, she was fragile, precious, adored. I became the strong one, the one who didn't need as much, the one who learned early how to be invisible. So when Dan came into my life and made me feel chosen, cherished, and special, something inside me finally stopped aching. He listened to me. He encouraged me. He remembered small details. He brought me gifts just because. He took me on long walks and talked about the future as if I were already part of it. With him, I felt whole for the first time in my life. We married after 4 years together. I wanted a family right away. I wanted to create what I never had. Dan insisted we wait. He said I should finish my master's degree first, build a career, become stable. He said he wanted us to be ready. At the time, it felt loving, responsible, wise. For 5 years, now I believed I had the perfect marriage. And then I learned the truth. Dan told me he had to leave town for a week, a work trip, something routine. I didn't question it. I trusted him completely. But he never left. Instead, he stayed in our city and rented a hotel room. That's where he met Abby, my sister. They had been seeing each other for 6 months, behind my back. When I confronted him, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I asked him how he could do this, how he could betray me with my own sister, with a girl who had just turned 19. He didn't cry. He didn't beg. He said he no longer loved me. He said I didn't give him enough attention anymore, that I had changed, that I wasn't the girl he fell in love with. While my world was collapsing, I discovered I was pregnant, and then I lost the baby from the stress. I lay in a hospital bed, empty and bleeding, knowing that the life I had dreamed of was gone before it ever began. Dan never came. He was with Abby. Only later did I start remembering the signs. The way Abby had always been a little too affectionate with him. The way his eyes lingered on her. The moments I brushed off because I trusted both of them. My mother chose Abby's side. She told me to accept it, to stop making things difficult, to move on. In a single season, I lost my child, my husband, and my family. I wanted to disappear. The only reason I didn't was my best friend, Tina. She was planning to move to another state and begged me to come with her. I had nothing left where I was, so I said yes. I left everything behind. It took time to breathe again, to trust again. I met kind people, and I learned how to exist without bracing myself for betrayal. A year later, I met Tony. He was patient, gentle, steady. He never rushed me. He never pushed. He proved slowly that safety didn't have to be a lie. We married last year. I am pregnant now. For the first time in my life, I feel protected. And then, 6 years after my life fell apart, I received a letter from Dan. He wrote that he missed me, that Abby was stupid, that she didn't take care of him the way I used to, that she was rude, that she cheated, that my mother enabled her. He said he planned to divorce her. He said he wanted me back. He had no idea I was married. He had no idea I was carrying another man's child. To him, I was still waiting in the ruins he left behind. For a long time, I just stared at the screen. 6 years. 6 years of rebuilding myself from nothing. And 6 years of learning how to breathe again. 6 years of becoming someone who no longer needed to beg for love. And he still saw me as the girl I used to be. The girl who would have taken him back without hesitation. The girl who would have blamed herself. The girl who still believed he was the center of her world. That girl died in a hospital bed. I wrote back. I told him I was sorry he was suffering. And then I told him the truth. I said that once, I would have run back to him without thinking. But that woman no longer existed. She died the day I miscarried our child while he was somewhere with my sister. I told him I was married now, that I was pregnant, that I was building a new life with a man who actually loved me. I told him to never contact me again. I told him he had made his choice. He chose my barely adult sister over his wife. And I said I didn't care whether she cheated on him or disrespected him. A man like him didn't deserve loyalty. I ended it by telling him that he wasn't in love. He was afraid of aging. He believed a young girl beside him would make him feel powerful again. Then I said goodbye. He replied within an hour. He wrote that he had been foolish to think I would still be waiting. He said he would always love me. He said I would always be his baby. The word made my skin crawl. That nickname had once felt tender. Now it felt like something rotten reaching out from the past. That same day, I received messages from my mother and my sister. My mother congratulated me on the pregnancy and said she was excited to become a grandmother. My sister wrote that she would be an amazing aunt. They spoke as if nothing had ever happened, as if they had not abandoned me when I lost my child, as if they had not chosen betrayal over me, as if I had not vanished from their lives because staying meant dying inside. I cried for hours, not because I missed them, but because I finally understood how deeply I had been conditioned to accept being erased. I blocked all of them. I am 5 months pregnant. I do not need their chaos. I do not need their guilt. I do not need to reopen wounds they never cared about. My husband held me while I cried. Then he took me out for ice cream. He reminded me that I'm safe now, that no one from my past can reach me here. And for the first time, I believed it. Later, I learned that my ex still waits, that my mother still pretends nothing is broken, that my sister still lives in denial. But none of that belongs to me anymore. I have a home. Now I have a partner who chooses me. I have a child growing inside me. I am no longer the girl who was easy to replace. I am a woman who survived betrayal from the people who were supposed to love her most. And I am done being the one who bleeds quietly, so others can feel comfortable. They can keep their story. I am writing a different one. I thought that blocking them would be the end of it. I was wrong. A few hours after I cut them all off, I received 2 more emails, sent to an old address I barely use anymore. One from my mother, one from my sister. I froze when I saw the subject lines. I had never told them I was pregnant. I hadn't posted anything. I hadn't made an announcement. I don't even use social media publicly, which meant one thing. They had been digging. Somehow they had been watching me from afar, collecting pieces of my life without my consent. The realization made my hands shake. It felt like someone had reached through time and grabbed me by the throat. I started crying before I even opened them. My husband was in the room. He saw my face and immediately knew something was wrong. He took the laptop from my hands and pulled me onto the couch. I told him everything, every word, every memory, every fear. I admitted the truth I'd been trying not to say out loud, that I was afraid they would find me, that I was afraid my mother and sister would show up one day and demand access to my child, that I didn't trust them not to poison her the way they poisoned me. He didn't laugh. He didn't minimize it. He didn't tell me I was overreacting. He told me we were hundreds of kilometers away. He told me no one had our address. He told me that if they ever showed up, they would not get past him. He even offered to speak to his uncle, who works in law enforcement, just so we could understand what our options were if anyone tried to cross boundaries. Then he did something simple. He went out and bought me 2 giant ice creams. We sat on the couch, spooning sugar and silence into the cracks they had reopened. Slowly, my breathing returned to normal. That night, I made a decision. I will not let my child grow up around people who taught me that love is conditional. I will not let her learn that betrayal is something you are expected to forgive. I will not let her watch adults rewrite history and call cruelty family. I am stepping out of the cycle. My in laws already feel more like family than the people who raised me ever did. They live nearby. They are gentle, and they are kind. They ask how I'm feeling. They do not demand. They do not guilt. They simply show up. My friend Tina still calls me her chosen sister. My husband treats me like I am precious, not replaceable. And for the first time in my life, I am surrounded by people who do not disappear when I am vulnerable. I don't know what the future holds, but I know this: I am not going back. Not to the man who betrayed me with my own blood. Not to the mother who asked me to endure it quietly. Not to the sister who took what was never hers. They lost access to me when they chose themselves over my survival. And this time, I am choosing myself.
That's where the story ends. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this story in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time.